During the War of 1812, the British actually invaded Washington and started burning some of the key buildings. They burnt out both the White House and the Capitol building so that nothing but the exterior shell remained. Madison was not there at that point. He had other duties because he was very concerned with the war, but Mrs. Madison was in the White House trying to gather up things, and while her assistants and her aides were urging her to get in her carriage and leave before she ended up being taken prisoner, she kept a cool head, and she instructed her servants to take the famous portrait of General Washington, painted by Gilbert Stuart, off the wall, because she knew it would be burnt otherwise. And she calmly instructed them to take the time to, at first they started taking the screws out, but it was a very complex frame, so eventually she instructed them to break the frame and take the portrait out. But she kept them from rolling it up like they wanted to do because she knew that would ruin it. And interestingly, that's her biggest claim to fame. People know her most for saving that portrait. It reflects her idea of serving the greater population and then being selfless, caring about her country before herself. Dolley Madison didn't do a lot of writing, so there aren't many quotes from her. A lot of them come from letters that she wrote to her husband and different friends and family members. But my favorite quote of hers is this: "It is one of my sources of happiness never to desire a knowledge of other people's business." I think it's fascinating that she made that statement, considering that every source views her as a very friendly, outgoing woman. Nevertheless, she didn't want to pry in people's business. She enjoyed their society. She enjoyed being very friendly and open, welcoming people into her home and her heart. But she didn't want to just know all about their business. She believed that privacy was important. And I think that quote is such an important lesson for us all to learn. The culture of social media has made it an obsession of our society to know about everything that everybody's doing and to feel the need to share everything we're doing. Or else we'll have some kind of fear of missing out if we don't constantly know what all our friends and family and even random strangers on the other side of the world are doing at all times. But Dolley Madison shows us that oftentimes we can have deeper, better, and more meaningful relationships if we don't just get preoccupied with knowing all about people's business. Instead, get to know their hearts and welcome them as other individuals, especially when you consider how she started really the bipartisanship of welcoming people who were opponents as much as friends. If we know all about other people's business, we're all too likely to just judge them for their beliefs, for what they've done, for different views they may hold. But if we get to know them as individuals, as citizens, as friends, and as human beings, we're more likely to judge them fairly.